Kitch.
Hello.
Don't know me. So, Kitch, I love this. We just spent half hour getting ready for this fucking thing, and then as we're about to start, there you are fiddling with your mic and your headphones, getting ready for the pod.
Because the guy down the street just started his. What is that?
That's my.
I don't know. You know what? This
I warned you.
very. That's Deno's fire alarm. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's my fire
Perfect.
alarm.
Perfect.
Yeah, the guy down the street just started some power equipment that I couldn't hear a thing you guys were saying.
Well, and now, you know what? This podcast could very much be like the Raptor season. Just up and down and all over the fucking place.
You mean
a clusterfuck?
Yeah, total cluster. Well, what are you talking about? 2 in a row. We're on the boys. We're about to go large here.
Yeah, beating solid teams. Yeah.
All right, listen. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes each to talk about these last 2 great wins of ours, and then we are diving right into our trade value segment. What trade scenarios look like? Are we buyers? Are we sellers? We're going to go through all that. Deno, then you got to jump off. Kitch and I will take it through the gambling segment. Deno, we need your picks, however, before you go. And then we'll do what drives and AOB.
I'm staying.
Oh, you're staying?
Yeah.
Oh, what a treat.
I'm good 2 to 3.
He's free from 2 to 3.
2 to 3.
He's always free from 2 to 3.
Sorry, it's Producer John. Producer John couldn't stay till 3. Right. I can't keep track. It's a lot of moving parts.
Barely you can't, yeah.
The big team.
This is like, you know what?
Bart.
Trying to manage U3 is like Nick Nurse trying to manage a rotation, a consistent rotation. It's impossible.
Well, you do as good a job as he does. So.
Oh, I'll take that, actually.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're on TikTok Nation, we can go through that a lot. I was going to go through that a little bit at AOB. It's pretty clear TikTok Nation does not believe Nurse is the problem, but we'll get to that. All right, listen, Kitch, why don't you go ahead? Two dubs here this week, Portland and the very, very tough out the Charlotte Hornets.
The Portland game, we actually had a pretty good showing by the starters. So the starters across the board actually had some decent numbers in that game. So that was ignore Deno's fire alarm. He's still in the building. So that was great. The bench was dreadful in the Portland game, like a lot of games this year. But I was impressed with the starters coming back last night. The bench was decent, actually. We had a decent performance from the bench last night with Gary, Achua, and Boucher all put up decent stats. We went 20 of 44 from 3, 45% with 3-point land. 44 seems like a lot of threes for the squad, but if we can make 20 of them, that's a healthy number. So I don't know how sustainable that is, but decent night. Like Charlotte and Toronto, I love this. We are the 2 worst shooting teams from 3 in the NBA. Yeah. 29th and 30th, Charlotte and Toronto. And in that first quarter, nobody could miss a 3. Everybody just lighted up the 3-pointer.
Okay, but so, before I let you jump in here, I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but I mean, last night, Achua 3 for 5, 60%, and then Boucher 4 for 5 from 3-point line for 80%. I mean, you take those 2 things. I mean, that obviously that's a fluke. We could not expect, and nor do I see. I think the worst thing that happened last night was Achua taking 5 threes and making 3 of them. I think that was a complete disaster.
Or Boucher taking 5 and making 4 of them. Same thing. Yeah. Now, you want me to break down that individual game? I did. Do I think sustainable? No, I don't. I agree with you 100%.
That was your breakdown? That was a complete breakdown?
That's it. That's all I got.
Oh my God. You do have a head cold. But look at it. I mean, like you said, last night, 44.5% from 3. On Sunday, almost 39%. I mean, I think when you're in games and you're shooting above 35%, like you probably have a pretty good chance at winning those. And then if you go back to Portland's game, starters minutes, it would appear that both these last 2 games, there's a bit of a philosophy change in how many minutes our starters are going to play. So clearly something has changed there a little bit. Fred's always my barometer, right? But he was 35 minutes on Sunday. Barnes was only 29 minutes on Sunday and had 22 points. But again, let's talk Barnesy for just a quick second if we're going to break things down. I mean, great, 22, 9, and 4 on Sunday. And then what was he last night? 7, 5, and 4, and kind of looked like he wasn't even out there half the time.
No. And right after the game too, if you watched the end of the game, he was like the first guy in the locker room. Everybody was still in the court, shaking hands, saying hi. So he just got off the bench, and went right to the locker room. Like in their inner mind, like he has lost his engagement. I don't know if somebody's pissed him off and he's a young guy, or whether the players have turned on him a bit. Like there's something not right in Barnesville.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think the whole players turned on him. I don't know. That's probably too harsh. I doubt they've turned on it. But I mean, we sent the clip. I sent you guys the clip the other night, or I told you about it, and Deno sent the clip of Thad Young getting in his face a little bit. Now they had a it came out after that it was all good and brothers fighting type thing. So, but then Fred has been it was Fred's. I think it was on the JJ Reddick podcast when
Reddick,
Fred was a bit woe was me, but he talked about how maybe this is a good thing that he's struggling. Like it wasn't overly complimentary of him, but it was sort of like, hey, yeah, this he is struggling, and therefore he's got to deal with that. Which he's like last year, he could do no wrong, right? Everything was perfect. So how is he dealing with that adversity? So yeah, there's definitely an engagement issue. That's a good way to describe it. Something's not right. Yeah, he was 5 and 7 last night. So 7 assists.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. But 31 minutes. Like Fred, 33 minutes. 31 for OG. Like clearly something's been said to get these guys less minutes because we just can't. We can't operate those guys at our stars at plus 40 minutes plus. So interesting, the sort of little trend there. Our boy Flynn seems to be struggling.
He was 1 of 16 from 3 last night before he actually made one.
Before he made that one, yeah.
Yeah.
He still 1 for 4 last night.
Yeah. And I tell you, the only reason Flynn is on the court is to score, is to shoot from outside. If he isn't making the shots from outside, there is no value in having him on the basketball court. None whatsoever.
But I mean, look at that bench for a second, which again, I know this is probably contradictory to what we said earlier, but in the season, but Boucher 15 minutes, Hernan Gomez 11 minutes, Achua 14, Koloko 21, and then Flynn 18. Not that I don't think our bench needs minutes. I'm just not sure like that group. There was a couple lineups last night. There were a couple lineups last night. You go on, this is a terrible NBA 5 on the court right now.
No, Gary's still on the bench, technically, so you got to count him in there as well. He's a bench player.
No, Gary's starting now.
Oh, did he start last night over?
He started the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
What?
I've cut the second half. Last night I missed the first quarter. I'm missing the first quarter of these games.
Where have you been? On Sunday you said I didn't even know they were playing.
I didn't even know they were playing. I was thinking 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I didn't know it was a 3 o'clock
3:30 start. 3:30 start.
That was like the only one this year for 3. That threw me off.
Listen, which leaks into my.
Although, let me come back to you guys. Let me come back. I decided to listen to last week's pod, and the only guy who could score on our team, you guys want to get rid of him? Siakam, like dump Siakam. That would be horrible. If we're gonna dump, if we're gonna release Siakam. No, hang on. Let me finish. If we're gonna release Siakam, then we're gonna need somebody who can score.
Okay, wait.
Who can score.
We're not releasing him. We're getting assets.
You're getting assets.
No, Deno, isn't that what we said?
Asset.
Deno, isn't that what we just said? Just cut him. Let's just cut Siakam. I think that's what we said. Just cut him.
Yeah.
No, you said you're going to get assets, but you're not getting an asset who could score as much as Siakam could score.
Okay, so hang on a second. So hang on a second. Now we're getting ahead of ourselves. I don't. I'll have to go and review the tape because I don't think we ever said
it was ridiculous.
Bart, listen to 10 seconds of the pod. That's all you heard, and you turn it off.
I had to turn it off after that. I was furious with the stupidity of the two of you. After I listened.
Headline Kitch. I get yeah. All right. Okay. Let's settle. Everyone, let's settle down here. Right? But Kitch, that's bullshit. Yeah, that's not what was said. But anyways, we'll come back to it. But all right, let's lead into this with our trade value. And the first thing I was going to say. So here's the trade value segment I've been talking about for a couple of weeks. But the first thing I was going to say when we rank this, okay, is I think any organization has to be very, very careful when they talk about trading away and rebuilding when you already have a top 15 player on your roster. I think that's a dangerous precedent. And I've thought about this quite a bit. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I'm just saying if we are trading, listen, if you're trading OG, then I think you're trading everybody. I really do believe that. Except for Barnes, but we'll talk about it in a second. So here's how we're going to do this. All right. You guys can agree or disagree, but here's how we've ranked the trade value, or how I would rank the trade value. Siakam's 1. He's our highest trade value, no question. I would say OG's 2. I would say Fred is 3. I would say Gary is 4.
Who was 2? Bart, you timed out when you said 2.
OG.
Who was 2?
OG.
OG's 2.
OG's okay.
Oh, now we've lost Deno. It's all happening.
No,
This
Deno's
pod is blowing up.
Yeah.
So, and then I would say Barnes is 5, but almost with an asterisk with Barnes, because here's my philosophy on Barnes. He has no trade value because we decided in the offseason that we weren't going to put him in a trade package for Kevin Durant. So once you make that decision, then who would you trade him for? Right? Like there's nothing out there that we could trade him for. So I would say he almost has zero trade value. And then I would say on the bench, like our bench combined has limited to no trade value. But that's where we're going to start. So here's my comment on Siakam. And again, very dangerous to sit there and go, hey, we're going to rebuild this thing by getting rid of Siakam. Like that's a tough thing to do. However, let me throw this at you. If we got rid of Siakam for 2 firsts, 2 pick swaps, and then, a medium, a respectable player to match salaries in return. Okay. So let's start there with Siakam. 2 firsts, 2 pick swaps with some serviceable players in return. You got to meet salaries.
Who goes?
You go first, Kitch.
Idiotic. No way do we give him up. You work so hard to become a top 15 player in the NBA. You have to put in the time. Like, think of what Siakam was like when he started and what we've actually built him to where he is today. Do you want to do that again with another player? NBA teams don't win unless you've got 2 decent stars on your team. You need to have 2 decent stars on your team. So if you go and give away your star on the team, now you have to draft 2 players that are solid enough to take you to the championship. And if we ever want to get some sort of half decent free agent that might drop into Toronto's lap like a Kawhi, you better have Siakam there as a teaser to say you could win with this guy. Kawhi won with this guy as a second man. So yeah, zero trade value. I don't want anything for him. Nothing.
Wow. Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. No.
Okay. You can tell Kitch is a season ticket holder. I wanted a ring. So I'm actually open to this, but of course, Bart, I want more. And I think the key in this is who you're trading with. What are these picks going to be like? Like, are they the 29th, first round pick or right stuff? So I think, like, what did Gobert get? I know that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
Let me tell you what Gobert, because I did a little research.
4?
Gobert got 3 firsts,
2
pick swaps,
2 pick swaps,
4 players in return.
Yeah,
2 of them, that Vanderbilt kid and their number 1 pick from last year. So Vanderbilt's serviceable. Their number 1 pick from last year is, like, who knows, jury's out, but he's decent, right? So it's the biggest haul, and I'm not saying that's not out there. Like, that's not available.
Yeah.
And how did that work out?
Oh,
well, for Minnesota, no, it's not terrible for. It's not terrible for Utah.
It's great for Utah.
Well, that's what we'd become Utah.
Why? Nobody's going to give the money after that debacle. Which happened?
All right, well, let's go Mitchell. Mitchell was 3 first rounds, 2 pick swaps, and then they got Lauri Markkanen, who was having an all-star season until about 2 weeks ago. And then they got Colin Sexton in that trade, Colin Sexton averaged 24.5 points in a season a couple seasons ago. Like, so they got 2 solid players out of that. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Kitch, so I'm with you. I think it's very dangerous to give up someone of Pascal's caliber. However, if we were to do that and you got a massive haul, you're basically saying, hey, we're starting over with Barnes as the focal point or as one of the pieces. And this is a 3 to 5 year thing. So that's all I'm saying. So, but that's what it would have to, like, you would have to get something like that to even think about it. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to get my head around how we can do this because, yeah, like, of course, all of us want to keep Siakam. Like, we drafted him, right? And it's like, how we get our heads around what would we take? It's like the assumption is that Siakam and others are going, right? Because if we lose Siakam, we don't got a chance to even go after, like, even top 10. So is the assumption that we're getting rid of others, Bart? Like, we're getting rid of a bunch of players.
He would be the king. Like, he's the kingpin of all this, right?
Right.
If we are even contemplating that, then at the trade deadline, it is Siakam, it's OG, it's Fred, and Garrett. They're all gone.
Okay.
At that stage.
So Kitch, if that was the case, what do you think? Like, is it 4 first rounders plus.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even want to think of that. I don't want to be a second-year season ticket holder and even dream of that happening.
Right. But if you're not a season ticket holder,
that'd be 3 years of
dread. You're a podcaster right now, not a season ticket holder. You know what? The podcast name is not called "Hey, I'm a season ticket holder. This is what I want."
3 years of dread.
Second ring.
I don't know. I think we got. I think we got decent enough parts that can complement somebody who comes in that is a decent player. So I'm not ready to blow it up. I don't think these guys work well as a team, but I think if we take a part of this team away and bring a decent caliber person in, it can raise the other guys that are still there. So that's my.
All right. Well, on that note, let's move down the list then. So if you feel that way, so now are you prepared to trade our second most valuable trade asset, which would be OG for this team? Because I don't know where that gets you, right? Like
OG, I think OG is you're going to get the maximum you're ever going to get out of OG right now.
Yep.
So if you're looking to trade OG, you trade him right now because this is the best you're ever going to see. Like he leads the league in steals. Obviously, a defensive threat. Teams who are making a run this year, who are looking for a bit of defense. He's a good fit. He's only going to get us 14 points a game, maybe 12, maybe 16. So let's say he gets roughly 14 points a game for us. So he's not going to create a lot of offense for us. He's going to play defense. In the new NBA, is that what you want? I would get rid of OG if the right offer came to the table. I don't think we need to stick with him.
I think the difference between OG is that kind of compliment Kitch there. You get rid of OG, but you might get like two rising stars or whatever, right? And a couple of draft picks or something. Right, so it can kind of complement. Whereas Siakam, I don't know how you stay level. Like if a team's deep, team's got 8-9 guys and they're deep, they got some young guys. Let's use I don't know if Golden State's the best example, but we grab two of the young guys and someone else who can come in. Is that something we think more that hey, in 4 or 5 years those players will be better than OG because OG is what year 6, Bart?
What is he? Indiana call
96,
97. Yeah, so he's almost it's his 6th year.
Yeah.
Okay, but hang on a second here. OG is averaging 18 this year, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and leading the league in steals. So if you're going to trade him, and you're talking about but Deno, you're talking about bringing in 2 younger guys who might someday be better than OG. But that's 3 years down the road. Then that's a rebuild of 3 years down the road. Now you can't hang on to Siakam in the middle of that. So I think if you're not trading Siakam and you're not completely rebuilding this thing, then you know what? I don't think you can trade OG because I don't think you're going to get enough back. Like you'd want equivalency plus a pick plus a first rounder. I don't know if there's a lot of trade partners that are willing to do that. So now, he's pretty solid. I mean, those numbers I just gave it. He's shooting 47% from the field. I mean,
like
he's pretty solid.
Like if you're a top 4 team and you bring OG on your team to watch their best player, like that's a game changer on defense.
You over the top, and
it takes you over the top, right? They may go do something. I'm not saying desperate, but
I don't know if OG puts you over the top of a contending team. Maybe
on defense though.
On defense,
like the Nets,
he's covering LeBron.
He's covering him.
Durant. He's covering the star on the other team. So maybe then that's what you look at teams like the old San Antonio. Like you get a good defender that can lock that guy down and let the other guy score.
All right, but
because he's not a scorer, I don't think.
But do you not agree that if we don't trade Siakam, and you want to try and win within the next 3 years, then you can't give away a piece like OG. If it's a piece that you're going to give over that puts someone else over the top, then why wouldn't you hang on to him? He's still young enough. Like why wouldn't you hang on to him?
So, I just think his value is huge now. I think you can get a good piece back from him.
What's OG making in 2 years, guys?
Well, like 30, that's a good point.
Like 30, where these young guys are making, still making like 14 or 16, but it's like it's a crazy math equation now, right? Once these guys get over that 7 year or whatever, they're all making like 30, and these other ones in year 3 and 4 are making like 14.
Well, keep that in mind too. I forgot to bring that up with Siakam, and it's a good point. He's about next year.
Yeah.
Next year, he'll be eligible for a 5-year extension, somewhere between $250 and $300 million.
Yeah.
OG will be available extension somewhere between $150 and $180. He'll be able to get. Okay, so that's a lot. So I agree, but I think if we do those 2 contracts, which I'm not, we might be just stuck in, like you have to build around this. So I don't know. That's what I think. I think the whole league, that article I sent you guys, I think everyone is sitting there going, what are the Raptors about to do? Because I think we are the absolute key to the entire trade season, right? If we decide to stand pat, then people are going to go to plan B. But the OGs and Siakams, I think, are available. And, all right. So, yeah, I think the only way you're trading OG then, based on what you guys just said, is if you clearly have a Gobert type trade out there or a Mitchell type, where you clearly win that trade and it's too good to pass up. Because if it's not a clear win for us, then you can't trade them.
Yeah, or like who are we signing in 2 years? Like Bart, you're saying all these guys coming up. Like, do you think the Raptor brass is going to go and pay everyone? Kind of what Golden State just did, right? They just said we're paying everybody that we can pay. I don't know if
we ain't
Toronto
doing that.
Do that.
We're not doing that. I mean, that's
not doing that.
I would gamble. I would gamble if we're talking about gambling here. Then we talked about. See, I would gamble with OG. And how many full seasons has he played? Like he's been healthy this year, but we haven't said that for the last 6 or 7. He's been in the league 6, 7. But every year he's been hurt for a good stretch in the season.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a bit fragile too. So and it comes down to, like, it goes beyond this. So OG tradable. So it kind of goes down. If we can move Fred, I'd much rather move Freddie than OG. So if we can move Freddie.
Okay.
If I can move Freddie, then I would keep OG. If I couldn't move Freddie, then I might shop OG.
Well, there's no question you can move Fred. Right. Now the question is, are you going to win that trade?
The hard part is, so the stat that came out yesterday that I saw, so from the whole NBA, all players that are taking 15 plus field goal attempts per game, so all the guys in the NBA are taking 15 plus, Freddie's dead last in percentages, 37.7%. He's behind Rozier from last night, who actually lit up the last, and LaMelo, I think, is the other one. He's third last. So he's dead last in shooting percentages from guys taking more than 15 shots a game. That's not going to help his trade value this year for sure. It's really not.
Well, he's got a couple things going against him, right? He's got a down season. We won't call it terrible, down season. He's got an opt out, and last but certainly not least, he clearly thinks he's worth more than 4 years, $114 million.
Yeah,
and he's hurt. And he's hurt too.
And he might be a little banged up.
He's hurt. For sure he's hurt.
And he's got young kids.
All right, let me throw this at you.
Yeah, that's true.
If you could get
liability catch, good point.
You say because he has young kids.
And he's got young kids too. Yeah.
He can't practice as much.
No.
And if you listen to last week's pod, he'd apparently be happy to ruin my my relationship with my wife. According to Johnny. According to Johnny. All right. Fred for a first rounder. You pull it right. You do the trade. Any first rounder. I don't care what team it is. Any first rounder.
Seems light.
Does seem light.
You'd have to get something back for salary, right? You'd have to get $20 million bucks back in salary. So you get a couple guys back, but you wouldn't one of those guys or two of those guys would not. You wouldn't sit there and go, "Oh, that guy's better than Fred or as good as Fred." You probably get two $10 million a year guys or two Boucher types. Yeah. Not necessarily that mold, but I'm just saying guys in that. All right, would you trade Fred for Clarkson and a first rounder from Utah?
Yes.
Not that Utah would do it.
Yep.
But that's what you're looking at.
I would for sure. We need more. Like, Fred has become so one dimensional now. We need somebody who's got more creativity on the court. Like Fred going to the hoop is just a prayer. Whenever time the shot goes up, Clarkson can drive to the hoop, can score. So yeah, I would do it. And we got to do something with this team. We do have to shake this team up. So he's probably my top shake-up guy of the whole list.
Who's our leader in the locker room, guys? Like, so
Freddie.
Yes, Freddie.
I don't think he is. Like, he's so
unique. I think he is.
He totally is, kid.
Yeah, he totally is.
100%.
He's the one on the mic.
Guy.
Yeah.
What?
Start of the year, he's the guy on the mic. Siakam's a bit more passive. You know.
Oh my God, Freddie! How could you sit there and think Freddie's not our leader? What vortex are you in Florida right now?
He doesn't stand up. Like he's kind of a passive leader. He's a passive leader. He's not an in your face guy, I would say.
Oh my!
Freddie?
No. Did you see that clip when Siakam scored the 52? It was Fred with the game ball. He's running the show. He acknowledged the Nurses 200 win. Like he's that guy. Like I don't know. I think he's clearly the face of the franchise and our leader for sure. For sure.
He is Canadian.
So, all right, moving on. And I'll be interested to see what happens with Fred. But I'll tell you right now. All right, before we go on, Fred, yes or no, do we move him? I say it's a hard no. I say we don't move him. Not saying I wouldn't. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying I don't think they do.
I don't think they do. I think they want to keep him forever. I think they want. I think Freddie is bought in, and it's just a matter of the dollar amount.
I say we move him. That's my number one moving piece.
I know you say that, but do you think they will? The question is, do you think they will?
Do I think they will? You know what? I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50 on that. I'm not convinced they won't. I'm not convinced they will. Like you guys are more leaning towards, you don't think they will? It would not shock me at all if they do. I would put, I could actually see that happening for sure.
Sounds like a bet, Kitch. Sounds like a bet.
It's a risky bet for me, but it's
50-50.
All right. Last but not least of our real trade assets, because again, I'm going to take Barnes off the table because I just don't think there's any chance we would trade him. Gary, but now the rumors are out there that Gary's for sure going. That they don't want to re-sign him. They can't afford to re-sign him because I think, Deno, to you, like all these other guys, they want to re-sign.
Yeah.
And the way Gary's playing right now, oh my God, his value will not be any higher. Except, I don't think you're not getting a first rounder back for Gary. You're not.
Yeah. What? So, what's his contract look like? He's got a player option next year for $17 million.
Yeah.
He can score. Like Gary can score. Lately, he's been on fire with shooting, and when the ball goes to his hands and he shoots, I don't cringe. I'm like, yeah, Gary's shooting this one. It's tough. Like isn't it tough? And you're right. I've heard from a lot of people, and some people in the know that they are pretty sure that Trent is gone. Like everybody in their sister is saying that Trent is gone.
Yeah. We're not.
So I would much rather move Freddie than Trent, to be honest with you.
We're not winning this year. We can't afford all these guys. Trent's asset level will never be higher. Like they trade him right now. Like I'm not saying you wait till the trade deadline to whatever. Whoever wants him, I think you get rid of him now.
Yeah, but your question, Bart, do you get a first for him? Right now, I think you probably can. Right now, I think you probably can get a first for him. Might be a low first.
I don't know. That team would give up that first. One of two things. They got to think Gary helps put them over the top, or they're re-signing him. Like you have to know one of those two things, right? You have to sit there and go, he's a key piece. And is he a key piece anymore? Like, Gary's a sixth. He's going to come off somebody's bench. He's not going to be a starter and win a championship.
Yeah. He'd be great off your bench though, and as a sixth man with a team, with a team in the running. So yeah, I think some team looks at him and says, yeah, we could really use that for the stretch drive. And yeah, I do actually. Now I talk myself into it. I do think we get a first for that for Gary.
Well, I think if we do get a first for Gary, it's an automatic pull the trigger.
Gary's 23, guys. He's 23.
I know. That's why I would still have to move Freddie.
Yeah. He turns 24 this month, but that's so young. Like, it's a great out. Yeah. I think we can get a first rounder for Bart. Lock it up, Bart. Lock it up.
I don't know. All right. And then listen, but look at what we're talking about here. Like, look what we've kind of stumbled back to, right? Not trading Pascal, not trading OG. We're unsure on Fred. Like, we're hardly blowing things up. And then now you're sitting there going, well, what team are we? We're the exact same fucking team. Right?
Yeah. I think you bring a guy in who can reliably score. That can change the whole dynamics of everything. So I just think we got a whole bunch of guys doing the same thing. We need some guy to come in and do something different to make it more open for the rest of the guys. So there's something. I'm a believer that we can do it with a core of two or three of these guys, and just move one or two pieces that will allow a guy to come in to shift the mood and style a little bit.
Well, listen, there's no question. I mean, we've said it 1,000 times. I mean, we don't have enough shooting, we don't have enough scoring on a consistent basis. I think we have to bring in two of those guys. We need two role players. If you're going to keep this core intact, you need two high-end role players that can shoot the basketball, and then you probably need another big. Birch is not an answer by any stretch. Thad Young, not an answer from a big perspective. We're not going to give up on Koloko just yet. Right? I wouldn't want to do that. But you need another big on top of it. So you need two shooters and a big. And if you're doing that, then it's goodbye Boucher, it's goodbye Achua, it's goodbye Birch, it's goodbye Hernan Gomez, right? All those guys.
Can Precious play big?
Listen, I like Precious. I think he plays great defense when he's engaged. Like, he moves his feet. He can guard a lot of different positions. I don't like Precious when he's doing anything outside that arc. Right? I think
except last night. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's the problem. But everything before that, you know what I mean? Like, So I don't know. It's an ill-conceived roster that has to. So if we're not going to change out the core, which Kitch doesn't sound like you necessarily want to do, like, you would keep Gary and move Fred, or one of the, like, so one of those two are going to go. But then the core is pretty much intact at that stage. You're moving one of the 5 starters. I mean, then what? Then, I mean, I think it's like what Shaq said at the end of the last season. This team could be mired in mediocrity.
I would still gamble with OG. If we move one of those two, I would still take an OG gamble. I would move OG and take a shot there.
Think of those back
only
in
if
the
you clearly win that trade.
Bart, those West Coast teams, whatever, that just always got in the first round and lost, like the Nuggets and whatever. Like, are we gonna be one of those? Like, with this roster, are we just gonna continue to get to the playoffs and lose first round? Like, is that what we want?
Yes, we are.
And if we're happy with that, if we're happy with 45 wins, then I think we keep the same roster. But if we want to go for it, we got to do something extreme, like go and buy or go and release.
I'd be much happier with 47 wins.
If it's over 44 and a half every year, I'm okay with 45 wins.
Yeah, I definitely this year I'd be much happier with 47 wins. But you know what? That bet is gone.
Yeah,
you know what we need for that.
Do you boys see the stat that the Raptors have their plus minus for points scored and points against is 0 for the year. So they're 5 games under, and every team ahead of them is like in the negatives. So it just shows they lose all the close games, right? And then when they actually win, they win by 12 or whatever. But like, are we actually just like, if we could get, all these ifs and buts, but like, if we're also 3 games over right now, 500, are we having a different conversation?
No, we're not, because this team, this team, the way it's constructed, like you said, I mean, I have no doubt we could be 3 games over, like with all the games that we've lost, and like our record could easily be flipped, right? Yeah. I believe that, but we'd be in the 6th seed, right? Yep. And then you'd be asking yourself, which one of those teams ahead of us are we going to beat in a 7-game series? And we'd be like, we got a 20% chance against Philly, we got a 10% chance against Milwaukee, and we got a no percent chance against Boston, right?
I mean, Brooklyn's tough.
So like I don't think. It really is a tough spot actually to be in. Because you're going to talk yourself into, you're going to get influenced by a lot of different things. I think you could easily, if you're Masai and Nurse, talk yourself into, we're not far off with this team. And I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I say Masai is on. Masai is this is his time to prove himself here for sure. We picked up, well, I don't know if it was earth-shattering news for you guys, but it's devastating for our team that Porter Jr. now has to have season-ending surgery, so he won't be coming back to the game.
Waiting for that.
What happened? Like, he's got foot injury. Did somebody step on his foot while he was sitting on the bench? Is that what happened? Like, he was sitting there and
dislocated toe. That's where it started. It's a dislocated toe.
So he's gone. So so there's our off-season pickup that was going to score for us and put us over the edge. Yep. So we need something there. And we never talked about Joe Wieskamp. You guys know Joe Wieskamp?
I like Joey. He lit it up to the 905.
I pulled up our roster, and there's Joe Wieskamp on our roster. A shooting
guard.
What?
He lit it up to 905 yesterday.
Like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? How about him? He's a shooting guard. Let him shoot. Let's see who this guy is.
Well, I think we've been down that path before. You fall in love with these guys. It's the exact same. It's Timmy.
I don't know who he is. I don't even know who he is. I can't fall in love with him.
It's Thomas all over again.
Oh yeah. What's his first name? Thomas. Matty Thomas. Matty
T. I think out of the league. Matty T currently out of the league.
Is he really?
All right, listen, we got to move on. I don't think we've solved much here. It's going to be very interesting to see what we do. But I'll tell you what, I would not be opposed. I really would not be opposed to the full blow up. Like, just do it all. Build around Barnes, get in this draft, get 2 picks, maybe 3 picks in this draft. See if you get lucky in a top 4 pick. Like, because listen, it'd be brutal, Kitch. It would be brutal. We would have to give away those tickets next year. We would take a bath.
So last time we fit this scenario, we got Barnes, and now we're in second year of Barnes. He's a long ways away from making a big impact on this team, it sure feels like. And that's what we do when we start again from scratch. Like we are I do not want it. I think we got some decent players we got to keep around.
All right. Last scenario I'm throwing at you. Let's say this is a crystal. This is like pure lottery. But let's say we did this. Let's say we loaded up. We got rid of Siakam, got rid of OG, and got rid of Fred. And that resulted in us getting Wembanyama. Would you be like, okay, even though it's a rebuild, but that's what you ended up with. You ended up with Webb 3.0. You wouldn't, oh, fuck, sign me up for that. If that was the option right now, sign me up.
I don't know enough about this kid, so I can't give you a thought. Like, is he the next LeBron, which I've heard? Maybe then.
Well, let me give you a quick synopsis of who he is. The real deal.
You know what?
Okay.
You've had a lot of real deal bets you give me too that have really worked out.
Of course, you know what? To be fair, it's
high level summary, Bert.
I'm the same guy who said I'm not sure LeBron's ever going to be great. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. That's true. That is true. All right. Well, listen. Let's move on from Raptor land. We've got 2 more winnable games. We could easily be on a 4-game win streak here with the Hornets and Hawks next 2 up. Then we're on the road. But like what young Johnny Bart told me today, we have the 3rd easiest schedule the rest of the way.
Really?
Wow, that changed.
We had the 5th hardest not too long ago.
Yeah.
The 3rd easiest.
Now listen, this is my source is my son.
Yeah. Okay.
And so who knows? But apparently we have now. I must admit, when I was perusing the schedule yesterday, there are a ton of easy games coming up.
We need
winnable.
Them.
I shouldn't say easy.
We need them.
I don't know if I can trust the flip flopper. That flip flopper, Johnny Burns.
I agree. That is so true.
Yeah.
All right. Raptors to be continued. That's it. We're done. We got to move on. That was a long segment. We're going right to gambling.
All right. Wrapping up the year.
Well, no, that's just the regular season title.
That's it. Yeah, wrapping up the regular season title. Yeah, which is the title.
Not the year. Not the year.
The regular season title. We go into the last week. Bart comes in trailing. Bart comes in with Dallas over Washington. What was with that? What is the count?
They played their starters. They played their starters.
Yeah, they lost 26-6 to the Deadskins, who had no reason to win.
Dead.
Oh, that was dreadful.
Yeah,
Green Bay minus 4.5 over Detroit.
Oh, Bart. All the games that teams had to win.
You know, go against your team. That's what you get. You go against your team. That's what you get.
Yeah, that was true. That was karma. You said that. And then your lock, Pittsburgh over Cleveland minus 2.5. Pittsburgh did show up.
Come on.
Played a good game. Bart 1-2 goes to 19-17. So Kitch is in second, he was in second place.
Yeah.
Coming in there.
Yes, he was.
Jets Miami under 38.5.
You took mine though. You took mine.
You know what? Don't even say that though. Don't say that. 9-6, which actually I put down 9-6 was 11-6, which killed our Stover's 14 parlay. He had -3, and then also the safety. Oh, that didn't work.
He heard us in the 500 club.
Kitch, the Jets haven't scored a touchdown since like December 16th or something like an actual
can we
touchdown.
Talk about that for a second. Like, think about how stupid that play was. And at some stage, I get the idea. I get the concept of lateraling, but at some stage, you have to go forward for that to work.
and it never works.
Everything they did was went backwards.
Yeah. Somebody has to run. They got to practice that. Yeah. You have to run 10 yards before you pitch it.
You have to go forward. Yeah, you have to go forward.
So the second one, Tennessee, Jacksonville over 40. Jacksonville had many opportunities to score, but it did not go over 40.
No.
And then Kitch, San Fran, Arizona under 40.5. Didn't bank on San Fran scoring 38 points. So that went over. So Kitch gets one. Kitch goes 1-2, 19-16-1. Half the gave ahead of Bart in the second. That's like, and then Deno first going in. All he needs is a win. All he needs is a win to lock this up.
Did you go over?
One, yeah.
Houston Indy
under
Houston Indy. No, Kitch took mine.
The only one I wanted. The only one I wanted, Bart.
Houston Indy under 38. They scored 63.
63.
Tampa Bay Atlanta under 40. They scored 47. And Pittsburgh Cleveland under 40. They scored 42 for 0-3.
It was late too.
Late
17-1. Deno finishes in the third. Deno falls to third place.
All that work.
Kitch takes the title. I think for the second year in a row. I'm going to come back to that next week. I think second year.
You know what, Deno? Especially when the unders have been so good to your run up. You had 4 great weeks.
I know what that. Too much pressure, Bart. Too much pressure.
Yeah, got you. And then this. Well, you know what? And I kind of screwed you by putting you in the one hole, giving Kitch first picks.
Yeah, it was actually on you.
Oh,
the only one I liked was the Jets.
Then if I'd known, trust me, I would redo that. I would totally redo that.
That's true. Congrats,
That's
Kitch.
awful.
That hurt.
That's bad management on my part.
Ruined my Sunday. Ruined my whole day.
All right, let's move on to playoffs.
So we pick. Yeah. We can double up this week because the first week we're all at zeros. So So you can double up if somebody has the same picks. So who wants to go first?
Well, I mean, we'll go. I'm in last, so I'll go first.
Okay.
Is it three?
Three.
I'm making it real easy. I'm going Buffalo minus 9.5. I'm taking San Fran minus the 9.5. And then I'm locking the Bengals up. I think that line moved to 7. I'm going to confirm, but I think it moved to 7. But I'm locking the Bengals up at 7.
Oh, it has moved.
Yeah. Lamar.
But I can't believe the two lines came down from 10.
Lamar just announced that it's doubtful he's playing.
Yeah, fuck. Good. But yeah, lock it up, the Bengals. That's a 3-0 start to the playoffs right there. And I can already tell you, I've already made all 3 of those wagers in my betting account. As of last week, just so everyone knows, the only bet that out of those 3 that I made in my betting account was the Steelers. Largest bet of the year. The account needed it. It'll be flush for Vegas, baby.
Attaboy. All right, Dano, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to stick to the unders just to ruin football. I will go Cincy Baltimore under, Kitch. I got 40.5 there, Bart. What do you got there?
Yeah, that's correct.
Dallas Tampa under 45.5. Is that correct?
Yes, it is 45.5. Yep, that's right.
And then Seattle San Fran under, what do you got there, Bart? 42?
43.
42.5.
42.5. I don't think Seattle's going to score.
I had the exact same picks as you, so I got to change up a bit. I'm going to take San Fran. I will take. God, I love Cincy. I'm going to take Cincy, and I won't take Buffalo. I will take the Chargers over Jacksonville. Chargers over Jacksonville. Is that minus 1?
I looked at that one, actually. I just don't know if Mike Williams is playing, and he's such a difference maker.
Yeah, I don't think he is playing.
If he's not playing, that's a problem. And you know what? Oh, my God, that's going to cost Staley his job for playing him in a meaningless game.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well.
All right.
I got to admit, this is actually a pretty wide open playoffs.
Yeah.
There's no real favorite.
These games
There's no real favorite.
No. These weeks, this game, this is always a lousy week.
Oh, yeah. This week, this is why we didn't go to Vegas this week, because I don't like these games. Like, it's usually, like, that's what those. Yeah. There's going to be 3 or 4. 3 or 4. There'll be at least 2 blowouts.
Yeah.
Right. Not even worth watching type games.
It's great.
But then, Kitch, when we go for the following week, oh my God, it should be great. It should be like a Dallas, Philly, Minnesota, San Fran, and you're staring at Cincy, Buffalo, and then hopefully the Chargers and Kansas City. Like, that's a good slate.
Yeah, that is solid.
That would be a very, very
it's a good
time.
For bettors, this is a good teaser week. This is a good teaser week for those people betting out there. You could tease all these heavy favorites down to 2.5. Do a 6.5, 7-point teaser on Buffalo, San Fran, Cincinnati. Take them all down to, and I think it's going to be juicy for this week.
All right. Well, there we go. Anything else in the gambling segment that we need to talk about? I don't think so. We can talk about. I got AOB is kind of gambling. Well, no, we got to go. No, we'll do that AOB. Let's go. What drives? All right, Kitch, you missed last week, so why don't you start us off? And we're just one. You can only do one.
Okay. Yeah. What drives me crazy is it does give me a little. Drives me crazy. The lack of knowledge and care by store employees now at multitude locations. So you go into a store and you ask someone, "Do you have this product?" And the guy will say, "Like, I don't know," and they'll stare at you. Or do you know where this product is in your store? No, I don't know where it is. And they'll stare at you. Not like, let me look into it, or how can I help you out, or I'll ask somebody else. No, they stare at you like, no, I don't know the answer to that. So move along. I think, whatever happened to this customer service thing? So I'm at the LCBO before I came down here, getting some booze. I get to the cashier, so like run all the stuff through. I had a whole bunch of stuff. I run it through.
And then, sorry, I mean, just for our American friends, our American listeners, which we have one.
The liquor store. Went to the liquor store.
Liquor Control Board of Ontario.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Went to the liquor store. I got a whole slew of stuff. Run it through, and I give the guy. And you can get airplane. You get airplane miles at the liquor store in Canada now. So I run this all through. I give my airplane card. The guy goes, "Oh, you have to give me that card before I run this through."
He did not.
Yeah, and I said, well, can you check into that? No, you have to the card. You have to give me the card first. I can't do this now.
So, Kitch, why didn't you say, well, can you go fuck yourself?
Okay. No, say cancel my order, please.
So I said to him, I said, so when I was here last week and I ran the stuff through and you took my card after, it was no problem. He goes, well, that they don't allow us to do that anymore.
That person's been fired.
I'm like, well, how about you ask another cashier? Like this guy's, he's just staring at me like, no, you just can't do this. I go, how about you ask another cashier just to see if they can go through? He goes, okay. So he yelled. He doesn't even go over to her. He yells over to her. He says, listen, hey, Marg, we got this guy in line here, and he's trying to use his airplane after. And without do that, she goes, oh yeah, you just hit that button on the right and it goes through right away. I go, so you can do it after the fact as opposed to saying no right off the bat. He goes, well, I wasn't aware of that. I guess not. So well, maybe you want to look after like helping the customer versus just saying no right off the hop. Thank you very much. So it drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. That's the attitude of things nowadays.
Yeah, that's poor training, first of all, and secondly, that is brutal. Like, that's like, where's the manager to deal with that shit?
Yeah.
But you know what, kids, you can't call them cashiers anymore. By the way, they don't like that.
What are they called?
It's like you can't call them stewardesses, or I think it's like they're flight attendants. They're like
what's a cashier?
Like,
what is it?
Cashier's derogatory in some.
What's the name though? What's the name for them then? Money giver, taker,
till person.
Tiller.
It gets worse.
Sounds much better.
Tilly. Hey, Tilly. Ask another Tilly.
Kitch,
but they don't like cashier. I know cashier is not.
Really?
They don't like that.
Wow. Your first part, though, Kitch, of these stores, like every employee's got a phone or whatever. Like, can you at least like have a summary saying when someone asks for like, hey, where the TVs or like whatever, just have a list.
Yeah.
Like, what are the common things? Like, it is It's so bad when you ask a question, they go, oh, they'll point to the far end of the store.
Yeah.
It's like, just get a list.
Go away from me and ask somebody else because I don't know the answer. So go to the other end of the store in hardware and see if you can pick up that kitchen utensil in hardware. If you can't, ask them where it is.
Oh, my God, it's so painful.
It is painful. All right, Deno, you're up.
My next one, it happened today, and I'm just getting so fed up, Bart, just getting fed up with whether it's I'm on Facebook or mostly Facebook, where whatever you're searching or saying, all of a sudden an ad comes up, and it is getting so extreme that like if you even say a word, like just pick a word, all of a sudden all your ads are just funneling at you, right? It's just like when are they going to stop this stuff? Like when are they going to regulate some of this stuff? It's just ridiculous.
Well, you know what? It is crazy. And your point to regulation, like I think that is coming. I read something, I don't know which guru was talking about this, but they basically said social media and everything that's happening on the internet is like the early days of smoking. Right? Early days of smoking. Hey, smoking's not bad for you. This, that. Like they are figuring all this shit out, and they're going to go, okay, well, you know what? Here's this can't happen anymore. Like I think that's going to take years to figure that shit out. But I think that's what they like it did with smoking. It took 30 years before they finally said okay. Yeah. So but it's freaky how that shit happens.
Yeah. I was searching. Someone I know was ill, and I was searching on the illness. I swear, a second later, all my Facebook ads are like saying, "Hey, are you depressed? Are you this? Are you that?" All this kind of stuff. It's it is crazy. Like it's just crazy. Like someone was in my phone saying, "Oh, we're gonna get them. We're gonna get them. We're gonna get them."
Did you say boobies? Say boobies next time.
No, I didn't catch. I didn't say boobies.
Curious what happens.
That'd be a good one.
I think like cashier, you can't say boobies either anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
I can't even speak anymore.
All right, quickly for me. Happened last night, Deno. And I swear, one of you two have talked about this before. Kitchens, it's very similar to what you just talked about. But, actually, it's a combination of things here. So you get the league pass, right? Because I want to watch every Raptors game. But when you're in Hilton Head, league pass doesn't let you watch Charlotte or Atlanta because it's local games. So they're blacked out, which is fucking horseshit. How about if I buy the pass, I want to have access to every fucking game. Everyone's cut the cord.
I can't watch
right?
Miami down here. I can't watch the Heat down here.
Which is so stupid. It's so stupid. So today I actually had to go and buy, oh my God, the Bally's app, which is they run the Southeastern. So they've got an app to show you the Charlotte game so I can watch tomorrow night's game. Because last night when I got home and I realized I couldn't watch the game on my league pass, I took Johnny to the local establishment down the street because Johnny just came off his basketball game. We hadn't had dinner. I'm like, perfect. I invited Bobby. Bobby's like, Dad, it's the Hornets. I'm not fucking going. I'm like, yeah, actually, that makes some sense. But Johnny and I were hungry, so we had to go. So we walk in there. This place got 25 TVs. Mushroom Mellow. I don't even care. They're never going to be a sponsor. I'm calling them out. Mushroom Mellow, or Mellow Mushroom, I think it is. Mellow Mushroom. What does matter? I walk in. I'm like, hey. He's like, are you here to eat? Oh, he's like, you here for takeout? I said, no. He's like, you're here to eat. I said, yes. He's like, well, we only have pizzas. I mean, meanwhile, they have 95 different things on this menu, but all we could get was pizzas last night. I'm like, well, that's good because I have a 13-year-old and that's what he wants to eat. I said, any chance we can get the Hornets game on? He's like, I don't know. So he said to me, because I don't know. He's like, we don't have the NBA package here. I said, okay. Any chance we can check? He's like, yeah, I'll have to ask somebody. Okay, no problem. That's how it kind of works. If you don't know, you ask somebody. But my point to this is that he should fucking know. How about this? You're in there. You should know what you have. Your sports bar.
Yeah.
So he goes to the other guy in the back, like, yeah, of course we have that game. It's on blah, blah, blah. It took him 15 minutes to figure out how to use the remote to put the game on.
Play the channel.
Yeah. You're just like, he's pointing at it and like the TV's pointing at it's changing, but not and I'm just like, what is happening here? Right. It was just such a clusterfuck. I'm just going, I mean, maybe that's why there were only 6 people in there. And maybe I guarantee you that no one's ever asked to have the Hornets game put on in this bar. So there is some, I will give the guy a little bit of an out on that one, but it was just like it was just sort of like, yeah, I don't know. I don't care. And I just order your pizza and go. Right. Cause that's all we have. Don't order mozzarella sticks because we don't make those anymore. Which is what I wanted, by the way. I want mozzarella sticks.
Sports bar doesn't even have sports.
Oh, so DP and
it was unbelievable.
When DP and I went to Alabama, Deno, and you guys came in the day later.
Yeah.
So we said we'll go to a sports bar that was Thursday night. We'll go to a sports bar Thursday night. The Thursday night football game will be on, so we'll go and watch there. Google local sports bar. Yeah, it says there. We walk in. There's 80 people in this sports bar. They're all eating at different tables. So we sit down. They don't have the game on. Nobody in the sports bar is asked to put on the Thursday night football game. I'm like, I said to the waitress, do you have the Thursday night football game? Oh, I could probably get it. I go, is there anybody in here that wants to watch it? Well, nobody's asked about it. I'm like, this is a sports bar. It's full.
Yeah, but kids, you know what?
People.
When you're in college country, it's amazing. College football fans are not necessarily NFL fans.
It's true.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's
true. Valid.
Like,
it's valid.
especially when you don't have an NFL team in your location. Like down here, no one gives a shit about the NFL.
Wow.
Really? Right?
Yeah.
It's all about college.
Yeah.
I know it's an interesting phenomenon, actually.
Support local. Support local.
Phenomenons. All right, listen, AOB, and then we got to go. I got to go. I've got a very ill wife. She's on her deathbed, which means I am running this ship solo.
I thought you ran the ship. I thought you ran the ship all the time anyway.
Well, I'll tell you what a shit show yesterday. I was literally from, I don't know, 1:30 onward. I was in my car out of the next available 7 hours, I was in that car, 6 of them, just shuttling.
Taxi.
From horse riding to fucking
my God.
basketball games.
You're down the horse riding
picking
path?
up medicine to bring it home, to like cook soup, to get back. It was a day. It was a day.
Sounds like parenting.
Well, you know what? My sick wife. Yeah, I was parenting my sick wife.
Do you own a horse yet, Bart? Do you own a horse yet?
No, but it's funny. Annie, unfortunately for Annie, her stable is closing.
Oh, unfortunately.
So we have to find her another one, or of course the whole thing is, or we could just buy a horse. Yeah, not quite there yet.
Slippery slope. Yeah, slippery slope.
Yeah, there's a shoe to drop in this whole horse thing. I'm not sure if it means Annie's going to get out of horses, which is what I'm pushing for and telling her she's going to do.
Yes, 100%.
Or if there's going to be
I can see this horse living in your house.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
For sure.
You think your betting account is a bleed?
Oh.
Wait till you get a horse. Wait till you get a horse. That'll be worse than your betting account.
Sick horse.
You know what? If I win the long shot, if the long shot at the Kentucky Derby, because I will have money on that this year, if the long shot at the Kentucky wins, then I'll buy a horse.
You won't have the long. You'll have the long shot bet boxed with the second long shot, so there's no chance both of them are coming in. So.
Well, once I figure what that actually means, yeah, I probably will. How much that cost me? Can I do $1,000 box? What would that cost me? 15,000.
You can.
Okay.
That was what
two
cost me
horses.
60.
Two horses. So it's two combinations. Cost you
Easy
2,000.
one, Bart. Easy one.
Times 2.
Well, there you go. Something to look forward to. All right, listen quickly for my IOB then. That segues into it. TikTok Nation. I like to get these updates. Let's get it live.
Are they angry?
Well, yeah, they total like. It is fine. One of these days we're gonna do the read out some of the comments because it's pretty enjoyable. But you know what? There has been a slightly friendlier side.
Really?
Not hating as much. Slightly friendlier, but some people. Oh my god! But it's funny. Like I swear it's their jobs just to go out there and rip people and make stupid comments and I can't help myself but go back at them. So, but currently
you do go back. You go back hard.
Followers 5816. That's right now at
1,800
at 3:00 on January 11th. We have 5816. So I think by March 1st when we have our little draw for those tickets. And by the way, apparently March 24th is a very popular birthday because the number of people have responded saying, "Oh, that's my birthday." Incredible. It's incredible. But I think we're going to have 15,000 followers by March 1st. I do.
Wow,
at our current rate, producer John, if you can chime in, I don't think you can chime in. Producer. Oh, he's gone anyways. But yeah, I think we're at 15,000 followers influencing. Oh, there he is.
Bullish.
It's bullish.
It's going to be bullish. Look at our trajectory.
Compound interest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very doable. You know what? Hey, no nays. John, if you want to shit on something in this podcast, you shit on the Raptors, but you do not shit on the number of followers we're going to have.
Or actually go on TikTok and shit because that's where everybody else does anyway.
Fit right in there. And then Kitch, the AOB, the commencement of the Bart 50th year, kicks off next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, are we doing the pod from Vegas?
Well, we have to talk about that. We're either doing it Tuesday or we're doing it Thursday from Vegas.
Thursday noonish. That would be good. Yeah.
Doable. Yeah. So we have to figure that out. But yeah, so just so everyone's clear, I turned 50 in February, and first of, I think it's 5 or 6, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. But I know the 50th year starts in Vegas and it ends. Kitch, you're not on this one. You'll be happy to know that. But it ends in the UK at the World Championships of Darts.
It might be available.
There you go.
Bart, send me. Yeah.
That's a fun one. That is a fucking that's a pretty good bookend. Vegas and the Ali Pally.
Ali Pally. What month's the Ali Pally?
December.
Oh, really? We're at the end.
Yeah. I mean, it's electric. I'm not joking. TikTok or YouTube some darts highlights. It's incredible. I think it's a party.
Oh, I've watched it. I watch it. I watch darts every once in a while.
If I've ever done, I watch it.
Yeah.
I have to learn the rules of that too. It's like horse racing. But look, we go from
as well.
Vegas, boys coming down to Hilton Head for a weekend to Sawgrass. BBC at Sawgrass with the boys. To the Derby. US Open.
It's open tennis.
Tennis.
Yeah.
And then currently my last stop is at the Ali Pally. But there could be something in between. There easily could be something.
It's a big gap from the US Open. September to December is a huge gap. You got to squeeze.
Well, we are at the lake. I'm at the cottage for a big chunk of that. Yeah.
Well,
we're going to South Africa for 3 weeks.
Oh, well, okay, that's kind of big.
Not that big a gap. All right, go ahead, boys. AOB, and let's get out of here. I got to go.
My AOB is the poor companies who spent millions of dollars for advertising for the second half of the national championship game.
Ooh.
Oh.
How dreadful is that game? Like, I had money in Georgia. I literally stopped watching at the end of the first quarter, said, this is over. There's no chance. There's no chance. And halftime is 35-7 against Georgia, one of the better defenses. Like, nobody, I would like to see some stats in the viewership from the first half to the second half of that game. I bet you it fell off the cliff immensely.
Even in Georgia, I bet it did.
Yeah. What a total disappointment.
Well, you know what? I did like it. I had the over. I'd been saying Georgia all week. I don't know why I talked myself out of it at the end, and I did. But so I just bet the over. And then a guy, Scotty, Scotty, who's coming on the trip.
Georgia Scotty.
He had pontificated that it was take TCU first half and the full game under. So at halftime, I'm like,
Poor Scotty.
At halftime, I said, this hasn't aged well. And he responds with, well, if only one team score, you can't get to the over. I mean, they got the over by themselves, 65.
Yeah.
They got the over by themselves.
Over
That's why I
by
responded
2.
at the end of the game. Now, this hasn't aged very well. So, yeah, there you go. But, yeah, that was brutal. I mean, that's terrible.
Scotty's teaching in Georgia, and he gives you the TCU and under tip.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. You're about to see that next week.
Yeah, we're going to have words with Scotty when he gets
Yeah, you're about to see
week.
that. Well, Scott, he's only there for about 9 hours, so you have to see him quick.
Hey, boys, he bet the under. Show some respect. It takes guts to bet the under.
Takes balls.
So, boys, my AOB, Netflix, 4-part, 4-episode series, right up Kitchen's alley. Bernie Madoff. Have you watched the documentary yet, Kitch?
No, I've seen the Madoff one. I just haven't looked into it yet. I'm
like that
grinding
one?
out. I'm grounding out Walking Dead, just grinding it out because I've seen 10 seasons. I got to watch the 11th season. I got to finish it. This is it. This is the last season, so I got to hang in there on it.
The Madoff, again, you guys know the whole story. I can't believe how they didn't catch him like 10, 15 years like before it all happened. Like everyone knows what happened, but like it should have been stopped so far ago, and no one really paid for it. It's unbelievable.
I mean, that's what people talk about, governments and oversight committees and all. It's like no one's really watching, and no one really cares. And money talks, right? When things are good, it's like, what do we like? Yeah. Well, you know what we have to do.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
You finish because I was going to say something about TV watching.
There's one part where he should have been caught a long time ago, and they actually said, okay, send me the bank account numbers proving that you have these transactions, whatever. He goes and gives it to him. No one checks it because they just thought he was telling the truth, or it was like everyone's in on it. Like it was just like, How could you not just call someone saying, like he there's like $6 billion going through here. Like, is it legit? No one called. And then fast forward 10 years later when it's 65 billion.
It's like that story
crazy.
On the OxyContin one. I can't remember what it was called now with Michael Keaton in it. But the same thing, like the FDA's for years should have stopped that from happening. And they're finally like, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy how that shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are in cahoots. Honestly, I really do think that shit.
Oh,
it's just that no one wants to,
there.
be the bad guy, or they just get. Then that guy hands the document and he goes, "Oh, cover my ass. Good. I got a piece of paper. I'm good. I don't need to do anything with this."
That's a whole world. Look at did you end up watching the soccer one, the FIFA one? Oh, that's all cahoots too. That's all big scam.
I've started that one. I haven't. It wasn't a page turners where I felt I had to watch the next episode right away. But I started. I mean, but FIFA, you know that's brutal.
Yeah.
By the way, Wrexham. I don't know. I mean,
you didn't like it.
I'm watching it. I'm not.
Which
not
one,
watching
Kitch?
it.
Which
I'm watching it, but I don't love it.
The Ryan Reynolds English soccer team that he bought.
Oh.
Yeah.
REXHAM. It's entertaining. Those guys are hilarious.
Okay.
How could you not like those guys? Those guys remind us of us. Just like ball busting.
I don't like the other dude, McKellery. He does not do it for me. No.
Oh, I think he's hilarious. I like what he says when he plays the poor me card.
All right, listen. On that note, we are going to do a what you're watching segment at some stage because I've watched so much stuff in the last 12 months. It's unbelievable. And for the most part, but again, like, see Wrexham, not dark enough for me. I need something way darker. I don't need any happy endings.
Get some happy stuff.
I need bad shit. That's a great show.
Happy endings,
all right,
good.
listen, boys. Jeez. Thank you. Always fun. Let's plan next week's Thursday, Deno, live from Nevada. Oh, and Deno, you might be there too. Actually, that's perfect.
No, I wish.
You said Wednesday to Friday. I already booked a room for you for Wednesday to Friday.
I don't need a room. Just
That's true. That's true. Yeah. All right. We miss you. We wish you were here. We need you back. Take it away, Kawhi.
Kawhi up top. Looks at the clock. Turns the corner for the win. With the game winner!